Good evening, everyone. I was just thinking that I remember the first time that I come to visit Blackpool and the Illuminations. It was way back in the early 70s, and I was really blown away by it. So I'm just leaving now the edge of Pleasure Beach, coming up to the side of the Sandcastle, which is closed at the moment, on my way past the South Pier and right the way up to the Blackpool Tower itself. You can just see it in the distance. That's the peak thing at the top there. Now that tram just passing there is called a balloon tram, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was back out in the, was it 30s and 40s they were built, and they're still running to this day as well. I used to like the old colours there. I think it used to be green, was it, for that, and they've changed it to the more modern colours. They had to change, I think, all the wheel alignments and everything on the bottom of some of these older trams to run on the lines, because they now have a modern tram running, so they had to alter all the lines on there. And of course they had to change the undersides to all the old trams as well to be able to run on there. They call this the greatest free show on earth. There are collection points along the way where, if you choose, you want to put something into the box, you can do as little or as much as you so wish to. That it's there and it all helps. This is Wetherspoons here. Wetherspoons Velvet Coaster. I mean, even little buildings like this, or buildings like this, make a difference as well to the illuminations and the night scenes that you see along the way. It's all colour and light, isn't it? Even the shops in the background there, they might be there all year, but they actually also add to the illuminations. And if you only ever come during the illuminations, then the whole thing is just going to be one big package, isn't it? So this is the South Pier here on the left hand side. There's three of these here: South, Central and North Pier. I think North Pier was the first one to be built. All Victorian piers, and this is the only one now that doesn't have a theatre on it. It's got a lot of fairground rides at the back there. It's got the Laughing Donkey there, so that's a bar, so I think they have sort of light entertainment in there. But all three of them used to have a theatre, and I did visit, I'm sure I visited the Grumbleweeds. I did, and I think it was the last year of the theatre in the South Pier being operational. Yeah, it was the Grumbleweeds. There's one of the modern trams there. So here we are, Beaverbrooks Jewellers. That's the Viking Hotel over there. I saw Mick Miller over there one year. Very good. There were various other different cabaret performers that you'll find within. Buddy Lee, I think, is the guy that does the compere in there, and he's quite a funny guy himself. There's one of the more modern trams just going off there. Illuminations traffic. Yep, that used to actually go one way, which was the direction I'm heading now. It used to start right the way down from Squires Gate and head right up to Bispam, which is where all the giant tableaus are. There we go, there's a vehicle there. He'll be one of the only few normal vehicles apart from trams allowed on there. Maintenance, I guess. So we're coming into another section now with lots of sparkly lights and colours. I do like the extreme wide walkways you've got here. I mean, I'm on sort of like a central between the road and the tramway, but on the left side of the trams there's an extremely wide should I say, walkway, all flat and well paved as well. This isn't too bad. And the right side where all the shops and the hotels and any other eateries, amusements and everything, where all that is, that seems pretty good as well. And that's something that you will see in Blackpool, all the showtime, the showgirls. It is a showplace. It's like London by the seaside. Actually, it's more like Las Vegas by the seaside. Yeah, it's a seasonal event, and it runs usually from the beginning of September right the way through to the beginning of November every year. It has done. But the last couple of years they've decided to extend it because of the pandemic, and that will now go from September right into the beginning parts of January, so I guess to cover for Christmas and the likes as well. It's not designed as a festive event at all. It's designed more of an autumn event, so you got people that will come and visit the resort during the summertime, and that's normally it. But Blackpool have a little trick up their sleeve where they want the people to come back and visit again before the end. And during the half-term holiday period, that is going to be the most busiest time, I think, of the whole year for them. And it is packed to the rafters with people. There's a lot on offer here. You've got the Blackpool Pleasure Beach, which is, I believe, Europe's largest amusement park, and it's almost it is classed within the theme park area as well. And you've got the 3 piers, each with amusement arcades on each of them, a theatre on 2 of them, amusement park rides on, I believe, all of them. Maybe, I'm not quite sure about the North Pier. North Pier is probably the most ornate and Victorian looking out of all of them. And we've got something similar to Beaverbrook's here, similar, but it's, instead of it just being sort of like white lights or blue lights, it's running through a range of different colours here, as you can see. It's been raining, and sometimes when you've got extreme amounts of rain, that can actually add to the effects of the illuminations at night. So it doesn't really matter what the weather's been like during the daytime, whether it's been overcast or raining, the night time it just looks fantastic here. Blackpool is known for being quite rainy at times, but when the sun comes out it is a gorgeous place to be. There's the Linden Hotel over there with its extreme blue lighting effect there, and all adds to it as well. Got a set of lights just in front of the Linden, and they're all blue. I wonder if that's deliberate. They don't seem to be changing any other colour, do they? Just to keeping with the Linden. Maybe. You've got cars double parked there. The other thing I do remember is when I first come to drive up here myself back in 1986, there were more than enough places for me to be able to park here, even if it wasn't on the main stretch. At least on the side roads I didn't have too much problem finding somewhere to park. But now there's so many more vehicles about, it's not that easy. Probably takes about anywhere between an hour to 90 minutes to drive through the lights. It depends how fast the traffic's moving. As I say, at one time it all used to be going in this direction only at a certain time. So I think was it after 7:30, 8 o'clock or whatever, you followed down at the point at Squires Gate, got onto the main street, which is this, and then worked your way up. And they'll go further than I am, but I'm walking it through up to the tower and maybe a bit beyond. I don't think my legs would be able to manage doing a complete walk these days, although I'd love to do it all the way up to the other illuminations, the Blackpool Illuminations. That would be good. So this is like what you might call the smaller hotels, guest houses. And of course a few shops as well in between. But that's mainly the hotels onto the right hand side at the moment. And then when we get up to just before South Pier, then we start coming into the Golden Mile, and that's where you see a more Vegas-like setting. There's nowhere quite like this in the UK. Used to have Morecambe up the road that used to have illuminations, which is a shame that they stopped them quite a few years back now. But I believe that it was Morecambe that first started with the lights and everything, and then Blackpool followed not too long afterwards. But Blackpool's kept the whole thing going all throughout, and I guess it always will. Doesn't seem to matter what the weather's like. You can, I mean, if you've already booked to go on a vacation or a holiday to Blackpool, then you don't want it to be closed despite whatever the weather's going to be like. You can't help the weather, you just hope for the best. But if it's not, you should still be able to do it. You should still have to. It's not that you really want to brave all the cold and wet and windy stuff and everything, but there are a lot of indoor activities as well to do while you're here. But as I say, when the sun's out, then it's a wonderful place, and when the heat's up as well, again it's great. There's the Manchester there. Lots of little side roads here as well. Do check them out if you're visiting, because you'll find lots of gift shops and all sorts of shops down the sides there as well. It's not just simply on the seafront side. It's a big town. Also behind the seafront side you have got Stanley Park. Do visit Stanley Park if you've got time. It's a beautiful park. It's got a fantastic gigantic lake there filled with swans and things. I think they also have boating as well going on. There's also a model village. It's quite a good one as well. And a zoo. I've been there a couple of times. The Blackpool Tower they're going through its many stages of colour. It used to at one time just be what I would call the traditional gold lights. They were the low wattage lights that you would see everywhere at one time, and they would be going in a formation up and down the tower, which I thought looked absolutely brilliant. It looked lovely. I mean, I like all the different colours on it, don't get me wrong, but I'd like it to go through a phase where it does look like the old traditional Blackpool lights as well. And I'm sure they won't be replacing all these less expensive LEDs with something like that just so that they could get that effect with it. Although I believe it can do something pretty similar. There's a little bus over there. What's it selling? It's selling fudge. The Great British Fudge Company with Union Jacks on. There's the Vauxhall over there. A lot of these places do have entertainment as well. I've seen posters outside. There's a Cinderella carriage there. That's a form of taxi. It'll get you up and down the seafront side. See quite a few of those along the way. I think they also have the normal horse and cart as well. Again, they're all some form of taxi. Fish and chips. Yeah, there's no shortage of fish and chip shops, candy floss, burger bars, pizzas. You name it, it's up here. So we're starting to get a little bit busier now on the opposite side of the road, as you can see. This is where we're coming into the what you call the Golden Mile. So what's the theming above now? We've got chandeliers now. There we go, there's another Cinderella coach. So where else are you going to find something like that? £10p prize bingo. Wow. 10p. It's like going back to the 70s, isn't it? We've got it. We sell cigarettes. Are these little castles or Big Ben? No, they're like castles. They're like a cross between Big Ben and no, it's the top of a castle, isn't it? Heading into what I call the more mini Las Vegas area right here now, as you can see. I'm just looking at the tower there, going through its extreme colour system. Anybody visiting Orlando International Drive No, you haven't got a tower on there, although you've got the Starflyer up there. So you've got the Icon Wheel there. Now the Icon Wheel, I'm not sure if it still is, or it certainly was owned by Merlin people, which are the same people that own the Blackpool Tower up there. And that goes through its own colour schemes. There is a building beneath the Blackpool Tower itself which has a circus. I think it has something like a haunted dungeon or something. I'm not sure what it is. Was it an escape room now? I don't know. It used to be an aquarium in there. There's also the Ballroom as well, the world famous, I'm going to say, Blackpool Tower Ballroom. And they often have BBC competitions in there. Come Dancing, I think, isn't it? It was built back in the 1800s. It was an idea taken from the Eiffel Tower. And they didn't just simply want somebody to go up and down the tower and pay for that. They wanted a complete building at the bottom where they had all sorts of entertainment things going on, so that they then had, I think the words were, to separate the people from their cash, and that was one way of doing it. Funland Amusements, Prize Bingo. Now some of these are really, really big inside. A lot of them have 2 floors, and they have these little mini restaurants inside as well, like 8 buffet restaurants or whatever. But these fast food things, it's not just simply fish and chips. I mean, I think you can get chicken and chips and potato, mashed potato, beans and things like that in them. Maybe not the better menus, but not very expensive at all. So to eat here is not too expensive, because you could spend a lot of money if you want to as well. Blackpool t-shirts. Sea Life Centre as well. That's another one that's you'll find that's in International Drive. There's one of those also owned by Merlin, or was owned by Merlin. And that's in the base of the Icon Wheel. And the other thing that's there, which you'll also find here as well, which is Madame Tussauds, and they've got one of those there as well. So there's a lot of similarities. And before going into both the Blackpool Tower and the what I called the Orlando Eye initially, that's the original name of it. There's what they call a 4D show going on. You just basically stand and you can feel all this wind around you and see these other effects, and they give you these 3D glasses. I think you get the picture. And they've got one, obviously one for Blackpool and surrounding areas, and the other one for Orlando. That's a lot. That's eye-catching, isn't it? Golden Mile Amusements. This is probably the biggest. Now, this is probably the biggest amusement arcade here. This is Coral Island. Anybody remember the Blackpool Experience? That was an attraction that was inside there. I think it was Joe Gladwin that narrated that one. Take a look back down there, where we've just come from. Busy, isn't it? Not as busy as it normally would be. This is to be open on most normal nights. What was it 7:30, 7 o'clock, from midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Depends which day of the week it is, and depends quite which week it is of the year. So if it's the half term, it'll be open till late. Everything will be up and running. You've still got the Parrot Flyer in there. It's like a sort of a monotrain ride. I think they've got a flight simulator inside as well. All the coaches here quite lightly taking the people on a tour of the lights. Yeah, that's huge in there. And more lighting, and I think that's the amazing thing. When you first come to visit, you think, well, I guess that's it. Once you come around the corner, it'll be finished. But no, it carries on. And there we can see a better look at the Blackpool Tower now. 520 feet to the top of the flagpole, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. And I think the first level, that lower level up there right at the top, is the first one that you reach. And I think that's like 400 and some odd feet up there. You get a great view. There's a glass bottom there that you walk onto in one area there. If you can just see that little green area just at the side there, I think that's part of the glass, obviously made with an extremely strong, would they call it a plexiglass of sorts? You could jump on it, you could stand a herd of elephants on it, and it would withstand that, no problem whatsoever. Going through rainbow colours now. If you get a chance to come this way and you haven't, do come in, do pop into the entertainment inside the tower complex. It's not just simply the tower top ride, it's all the other bits and pieces in there as well. It's quite something to look up from this angle once you look up. It's quite high. As I say, it's 400, roughly about 400 feet to the lower part, but it goes up to 525 feet to the top of the flagpole. And you can climb stairs once you're in there. If you're not too good with stairs, then I think the lower end will be fine for you. But there's sets of stairs that takes you up to various different levels up above. I do like this light tunnel here. It's going through various different stages of colour and light. It's changed over the years, but I think really they're probably using nowadays the new LED technology. What they use about 10% of what the other ones used to use, so it makes sense to use it. This is going a little bit further past the tower, up this way now. You've got like a high street and shops behind all this. There's a lot of shops as well. I remember bins being along here. I'm sure it was bins. Was that the one that used to light up extreme green colours during the Illuminations period? There's some more similar lighting to Beaverbrooks up there. Vegas Diner. Look back at the tower now. That is more the traditional patterning movement that you used to get at one time, except it was with more gold lights. But yeah, it used to do that. It would build up the little sections of the tower at the top and then flash a few times once it's completed. It's the only thing that's missing is that flagpole used to light up as well. But that's what you see, that's what appears to be movement down the sides of the towers. That's what you used to see, but it was just with the traditional gold lighting. So there we can see an overview of where I've just come from and where I've been, right to the tower and just a little bit beyond, almost up to the North Pier up there. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this walking tour through the Blackpool Illuminations from South Pier to Tower. Do subscribe so you're up to date with all my latest, and I'll see you all again very soon on YouTube. Cheers, thanks, bye.